So I was scrolling through Twitter the other day and I saw this tweet from P3NA. He's a big trader, big guy in the CS scene. He's also a fellow YouTuber, does a lot of cool stuff, has a lot of good market insights, is an investor, makes a lot of money, all that good stuff. And he tweeted out this: noticing, and a picture of the Op Safari mesh, which has been climbing over the past month. And this got me thinking and also led me down this rabbit hole where I started researching this very specific group of skins that is absolutely pumping, absolutely going crazy right now. And this ultimately even led to me starting my own new investments. We're going to be talking about what skins are going crazy right now, whether or not you guys should be buying in, what the big opportunity is, and how you can maybe make some money off this thing in this video today. Today's video is sponsored by Pirate Swap, an automated CS2 trading platform where you can turn your skins into new ones simple and easy. All you have to do is click on the skins that you want to get rid of and then click on the new skins that you want to own and select confirm trade. It's that simple, it's that easy. And Pirate Swap has an amazing collection of skins, so you will definitely be able to find something that you like. And if you use the discount code GERM on Pirate Swap today, you're actually going to be able to claim a free $10 bonus and be able to get a 35% deposit bonus as well. So it's an awesome site with awesome features offering you an amazing discount. So there's no reason to not go check out Pirate Swap with that first link in the description below today. And thank you to them for sponsoring this video. So if you guys remember, about 2 months ago, this is 7 weeks ago at this point, we had the new update where we got, the Fever Case, we got the Train 2025 collection, we got the new care package skins, we got a bunch of new stuff, but we also got 4 weapon collections removed from the weekly care package drop list: Bank, Italy, Lake, and the OG Train collection. And at that time, that led to a bunch of people wanting to invest in those skins because in theory, those skins have been droppable for so long. I believe it's been like, I want to say over 10 years, I think Petrie said in his video. We'll show Petrie's video here in a second as well. But he gave a lot of good information, a lot of good insight about this potential investment. So these skins have been out for so long, and there's just absolutely huge supplies of them. I don't know if I still have the numbers pulled up, but yeah, here's like even the Op Safari mesh is one of these skins from one of these collections. 5.2 million of these things have been dropped in the past like 10 plus years, however long these have been a part of the active duty, like dropping actively after your games for leveling up. And now in CS2, it's been part of the care package drops and all that stuff. So it's been really, really crazy, but they were finally removed. And obviously some of the potential investment here was just one, these things are not going to be actively dropping anymore. CS2 is a growing game with a growing player base, and if the player base is growing and these aren't dropping anymore, in theory they'll appreciate a little bit in time. Some people just wanted to invest off the hype of, since they're getting removed, they're like, oh, they're probably going to pump a little bit. People are going to be trying to buy them up, so I'll buy into that. Also, they are trade up skins. They're some of the most cheap skins in the entire game. They can definitely be used for trade up or trade up fill or whatever. So that's a big opportunity. And yeah, I mean, there's just a bunch of opportunities there. Like I said, they are not dropping anymore. They should in theory only get rare. Their price should appreciate. But there's also the flip side where people being like, hey, I don't really want to invest in a skin where there's 5 million of them out there. Maybe this is just a short-term pump when people get hype and excited, it's going to die back down. And that's kind of the boat that I was in. I was like, hey, I don't really know if I'm trying to invest into a skin that has 5 million supply out there. This seems like this thing could pump a little tiny bit, but it's going to get eaten up and it's going to, be maybe a slow grow over time. But hey, I'd rather have my money in cases or other better trade up filler skins or whatever. I was not totally sold on it, and I was thinking, damn, these skins, Op Safari Mesh field tested at the time this happened, I think it was like 8 cents, 9 cents, 10 cents, whatever. I was like, man, to invest a significant amount of money into this, or any meaningful amount of money, I'm going to have so many of these damn things, and I don't want to fill up a bunch of storage units with a bunch of Op Safari Meshes or some of these other skins, whatever. But again, it does seem like I was maybe potentially wrong about this, and I started rethinking things because yes, if we date back to, we can take a look at the chart again. This update happened around March 31st of 2025. Again, the Op Safari Mesh and field tested was already 7 cents at that time, but you also have to keep in mind this thing was already pumping a little bit because a year ago at this time it was 4 cents, so it had already ran up to 7 cents even before this update had dropped. And then after this update has dropped, again, this thing has gone from 7 cents the day this update happened to now 12 cents. We've had a 69% gain in the time that this update has happened. And what Petrie talks about in his video, and something that I had honestly overlooked, was yes, there are millions of all of these different collection skins, but you do have to keep in mind that with there being millions of so many of these skins out there, in theory, they should have all been, as cheap as possible. They should have all been 3 cents on the Steam market, whatever. And there are skins in these collections. This is part of the late collection, like the XM1014 Blue Spruce and Field Tested, a skin that absolutely nobody cares about. And this thing, hey, it's been 3 cents. It's probably going to beat 3 cents for a while. This is what a skin, with no demand, no buying pressure, anything looks like. But there there are a handful of skins, and he showcases some of them in this video, that were remaining above 3 cents, even though there had also had these multi-million supply numbers, and that to him was showing that there was genuine demand for them. There was people buying them up. Even with the millions out there, there was something keeping these things above 3 cents. There was something pushing these prices up a little bit, and that's the fact that people use them as play skins, and some people maybe use them as trade ups and whatever too, but people were actually buying these for some reason, and people, couldn't sell them enough, and the supply wasn't enough to even keep them down. So all of a sudden, those skins now, once they're not actively dropping anymore, and once, our supply has been capped at whatever million numbers we have right now, they could begin to appreciate in time. And again, these things don't have to pump crazy in price. We're talking about an 8-cent op skin or whatever. It's not like we need the op safari mesh to go to $2 to make a bunch of money. If this thing goes to 40 cents, 50 cents, 60 cents, whatever, you could make a killing if you did invest in a bunch of them. Now, obviously, like I said, it's going to take a lot of time to get a ton of these skins. You're going to have a lot of storage units. It's going to take time to buy, sell them, whatever. These are very, very tedious investments, but that is also a large barrier to entry to other people getting in and investing in them as well. And sometimes that can lead to you actually having an opportunity to make some big money. So I started rethinking this thing, and we look at the different skins and stuff like the late collection. You can look at things like the Op Safari Mesh, again, as a skin that people are actually using. I don't really think there's too many other good ones in this one. But you have the Bank collection, where people actually use the P250 Franklin. People actually use the AK-47 Emerald Pinstripe. People actually use the Desert Eagle Meteorite. I believe he talked about the Galil AR Tuxedo here. Again, here's that video from Petrie NA, the dumbest skin investment that actually worked. Again, he has a big channel. He's got like 10,000 subs. You guys should definitely check him out. We have the Italy collection, the Op Pit Viper, the Glock 18 Candy Apple. These are some decent options. And then also you have, the OG Train collection, where you have stuff like the Sawed Off Amber Fade, Mac 10 Candy Apple. And you can start to see that some of these skins have been doing very, very, very well since this thing has happened. Now, the P250 Franklin in factory new, this hasn't really gone anywhere. It had a nice little pump right at the beginning, but it has crashed back down. If you were buying a bunch of P250 Franklins when this update did come out, you probably lost some money, but still, it's up a little bit. P250 Franklin is not necessarily where I would go, because again, this one is like the pink, the top of the Bank collection. I'm looking for some of the lower tier stuff in these collections, and in general, I never invest in the highest tier thing in collections, because again, when you're doing trade ups, those are the ones that are actually going to be getting their supply to increase. People are going to be trading up to the P250 Franklin, and more of those are going to be being created. But stuff like the Desert Eagle Meteorite, there still will be some of these created, but there's not going to be as many, I don't think. But ideally, I would like to get the stuff at the bottom rarity tier, which is why the Op Safari Mesh is good to me. It's not at the very bottom. Again, you still have like the grays or whatever below it, but it's not at the very top either, which means these things still can be traded up and stuff like that. So the P250 Franklin hasn't been doing that crazy. You have the Emerald Pinstripe and field tested up about 10% since this happened. Again, I think this one's another okay one, but not necessarily my best choice. Also, this is just way more expensive. This is like a $4 skin versus, again, a 12-cent skin in the Op Safari Mesh. Desert Eagle Meteorite, this one has been going insane. 85% up since this update dropped. Again, this one is $1.60, but it has been going crazy. This one has been doing very, very, very well. You have the Galil AR Tuxedo and field tested up 21%. Op Pit Viper and field tested up 11% since this update dropped. Glock 18 Candy Apple and field tested up 42% since this one dropped. This is one that I actually like a lot too. Just a very, very clean Glock skin. Everyone has a Glock skin, and everyone likes the colorful ones. You have the the Sawed Off Amber Fade and field tested up 36% since this dropped. And the Mac 10 Candy Apple, I believe, has been the big winner of this whole thing, up 146%, up to 42 cents since this update dropped. So I think any of the skins that I just showed here do end up being pretty good potential investments in the long term. These are some of the skins from the previously or the formerly active dropping collections that were showing genuine demand, that people do actually use and play as play skins. People actually do buy these things, and now we have a supply number cap. Like I said, some new ones of these will still being created with trade ups, but some of these will also be being deleted through trade ups and stuff like that. And you obviously hope that the trade up numbers kind of average down. Also, like I said, these are very, very cheap skins. Overall, these are skins that people are not necessarily worried about getting lost on accounts, or people are a lot of these are probably lost to a bunch of other accounts that never get played on, or people don't care about, or people just have sitting collecting dust on their account or whatever. So a lot of these are probably even out of circulation. Obviously, like I said, I know these 5 million numbers and stuff like this can look scary and can look intimidating or whatever, but again, you have to remember this is a 13-cent skin. You don't need it to go crazy. You don't need it to go too much places. But also another big thing for the Op Safari Mesh specifically, and this is the one that I'm going to be buying. buying. I have buy orders placed for the Op Safari Mesh right now. I'm going to be trying to load up. I'm not going to go too insane. I might put a couple $100 in this. Maybe I'll try to get $1,000 worth of these skins all together between them and throw them in a storage unit and see what happens. But I do think I was overlooking this thing a little bit, and the fact that 2 months later from this update, prices are still pumping, I think shows that this wasn't just a short-term hype. This wasn't just, going crazy because of the new update. I actually think some of the fundamentals are here that actually make this a pretty strong and pretty good investment that could end up doing pretty well in the long term. But as far as the Op Safari Mesh goes and field tested, this is the cheapest op skin in the entire game. So that's another reason that this thing could pump. Again, as the player base grows, as people continue to play the game more and more, and if these things are not actively dropping, I think we could see a price appreciation here. Because right now, this is like the price floor on an op skin, and there's no other cheaper op skin that has replaced it or anything like that. The next cheapest op skin is a capillary at 40 cents. So there's a big gap here between the 13-cent Op Safari Mesh and the 40-cent Op Capillary, and I definitely think that all these prices could continue to appreciate over time. We've seen all other skin prices. We've seen the cheapest gloves, the cheapest knives, everything kind of go up across the board over the past couple years, and I definitely think op skins could be in that category as well. So not only is Op Safari Mesh a very, very low rarity in a now discontinued collection, it is not only the cheapest op skin in the entire game, it just kind of has a lot of different things going for it. So yeah, I'm going to take a little bit of a flyer on this. I'm going to take a chance and start buying up some 12-cent op skins and see where we go. But maybe in a couple years I'll regret having 1,000 Op Safari Meshes or something stupid, but maybe we'll have made some money off this thing as well. I don't know. But yeah, Petrie kind of inspired me, got me going. But like I said, any of the skins that he shows in this video or any of the skins that I showed right here, I do think are investment grade. I think they're investable, and I think there is maybe some money to be made here. But I'm willing to find out, and I can't wait to see what happens. But that's pretty much it for this video today, guys. Hopefully catch you in the next one. Until then, peace.